And one of the early arguments that we had, oh gosh, I could have choked him. He looks at me and he says, "Nobody taught me how to be a father." Bitch, nobody taught me how to be a mother. What are you talking
You weren't
about?
supposed to say that shit though. See, when I said that shit, it was supposed to be
like the
that was supposed to
breakthrough
be
moment.
the end scene of the sitcom.
Yeah, no.
And then we were supposed to come back. You said that shit so quick, I was like,
No,
God,
right. No, we no commercial breaks.
Hey, welcome to Meet Me at the Spot, where pleasure meets education. This is the space where we get real about sex, relationships, and everything in between. I'm your host, Holly Eckelberger, and I'm a longtime sexual health educator, activist, and content creator. I will be your guide through conversations that blend curiosity, pleasure, and truth. Together with some amazing guests, we'll break down stigma, celebrate bodies, and learn how to embrace sexual health with confidence and joy. So get comfy because it's time for the show to get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Meet Me at the Spot, where pleasure meets education. I'm your host, Holly, and this week I am so excited to share my very, very fun conversation with Byron and Margaret. Byron and Margaret host the Beyond I Do podcast. After 28 years of marriage, they know love comes easy, but staying connected takes effort. They share real stories and practical tools to help couples stay on the same team and build a marriage that lasts. I had so much fun being on their podcast that I knew I had to have them on to give us all of the secrets on how to make a marriage successful. So, without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Byron and Margaret. Welcome, Byron and Margaret, to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you both here.
We're excited to be
We're
here.
excited.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, definitely.
So for folks who are listening, if you follow me on social media, you know that I had the great honor of being on Byron and Margaret's amazing podcast, Beyond I Do. And it was so much fun. And so I was like, well, we have to make this magic happen again. I'm really excited to get into our conversation. But first, I always like to ask all my guests, what inspired you to start the podcast and the whole Beyond I Do brand that you have?
Well, we both wanted to try to find us a niche on social media. We're thinking individually. And because I had been on TikTok forever and like never posted anything, just watching videos. So I was like, well, I want to do something, but I don't want to do anything I don't want to get on there talking about people or, anything like that, criticizing entertainers or anything like that. So I was watching the episode of Steve Harvey's TV show one day, and I was like, oh, okay. They had a couple of different couples on, and it was like talking about marriage. And the longest running couple had been married for over 50 years. So they asked him, the typical question all talk shows in the 90s used to ask, how did you guys last for 50 years? And, they had the typical, well, communication. So I'm like, well, what is communication? And then that got me to thinking, okay, well, maybe we could get on to do a podcast and talk about marriage, talk about, how we navigated at that time would have been 24 years. And so I approached her about it, and, we talked about it, didn't do anything for about a year. And then finally the following year, we pressed record. We were on vacation in Las Vegas. We pressed record, held on to it for a little while. I did the edits, and we sat there, and January 29th of that year, we hit send and published, and the rest is history.
There's so much negativity about marriage and relationships, and so we wanted to put some positivity
Yes.
out there and try and neutralize some of that, because there are happy couples. It doesn't have to be a hard tenuous thing. You know, it doesn't have to be gloomy and doesn't have to be dramatic, and like you can be happy and have a healthy relationship. And so we wanted to kind of neutralize some of that.
I love that. Yes. Yeah, I think you bring up such a good point, in that we don't see a lot of long-term relationships like that anymore. Myself included. And that's, you know, there's lots of reasons behind that. I've been divorced. And so and not to say like, you know, oh, like there's something somebody's doing wrong if their marriage doesn't last. But I love the perspective that y'all come at it with such a positivity about it, and such a realness and authenticity about it. And I'm going to break down the fourth wall for the listeners. These two are the funniest people. And they just have so much fun together. And that's really part of the magic. And you know, in a few of the interactions we've had, I'm like, these two are just so lighthearted and so funny. And I love that you had that podcast. I feel like a lot of podcasters do this, where they're like, let's just do a podcast, and you record it, and then you're like, well, you know, nobody cares. Like, who cares about this? And then when you finally like hit send, like the first time I released my first episode, I wanted to poop my pants. Like, I was sitting there like, what did I just do?
Oh yeah.
I can't. I'm not gonna go back. Like, what kind of reception is this gonna be? And I'll be honest, my brain immediately went to like, this is how I'm gonna make my millions. This is how I'm gonna make my money and stuff like that. And I'm 3 years in, and exactly. We can laugh about it now. It was so cute. 3 years in, and I'm like, yeah, right. And it's not even about money. It never really was.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, ideally we could do this and it would lead to something, replace our full-time, you know, real world income, but we enjoy doing it, and we've met some wonderful people such as yourself.
Yes, definitely.
We've learned so much, and like, we enjoy doing it, and we get to see each other in a different light. That's another thing. We talk about how this process has changed our marriage, or enhanced our marriage, so to speak, because you know, we see each other in different roles. So now we essentially have a business together. And when we're working on the podcast, we can't let any type of disagreement or whatever that we have working affect our marriage. And we've had to learn how to communicate, and we're still learning how to communicate with each other if there's a disagreement with something, or I'm an overthinker. I don't like to say perfectionist because I don't feel like a perfectionist, but I will nitpick. And so both of us have ADHD, but it's different types. And so sometimes those things come into play. So it's been interesting how we have learned to work together and have to separate that relationship from our marriage so that it doesn't affect it. It's always easier when he realizes that I'm right. All the time. And he just does what I tell him to do. But sometimes
every now and then I gotta be a little ass, and you know, sometimes I don't like how that flows, and then she'd be like, "Oh, okay."
You don't like how this flows. You know, he's had a couple of little ideas here and there.
Hit or miss. You know, it's like playing darts. You know, I don't always hit the board. And if you look at the wall, you see all the damn holes.
But you can fix the holes. You can fix the holes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fix the holes in the wall.
I had to learn to sit back and let him practice, and because he'll fix the holes. I've had to learn that. So it's been interesting in, like I said, seeing each other in different roles and things, and then creating something together that we put out there. And I don't know about you, but imposter syndrome is real. There are times when, we're on the computer or laptop, whatever, the iPad, and one of our videos will pop up, and I'm like, oh, here they are again. They're just everywhere. Who do these people think they are?
They know every damn
right.
thing.
Who do they think they are? But it's been an experience. We've enjoyed it.
Yes, definitely.
And we're going to continue to do it because we love doing it. And when that $1 million comes,
and the most wonderful thing that I know I get out of it is the connections with other people. And we're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to get to whatever goal that we've set. And it's just amazing talking to other people and like, hey, I've been through this and I've been through that, and you realize, well, hey, we kind of like in the same mindset. And it's great having those connections, because sometimes when let's just be realistic. Sometimes when you're in your own environment, there's just not a lot of people that think like you.
Right.
And so it's like, you're just looking around like we don't have friends or relatives or anybody that's podcasting that we know of.
We have very few happily married friends and friends. So even in that space, because sometimes with that, we look at it and think, do we really want to do this? Because you see so many negative stories and the people around you going through these things. So
then we interview a couple and hear their lovely story and hear how they're connected and hear how they're they've banded through times and living through turmoil and trials and still together. It's so inspiring to hear those those stories. So that keeps us doing it too.
Yeah, I love that. And that imposter syndrome is so real. I think every podcaster I've ever talked to has some level of imposter syndrome, and having to navigate that because you believe in what you're doing. You believe in the show that you're putting out and the messages that you're putting out so much. To work over that is it is great. It's a job in its own. Oh my God. I'm always like, what am I doing? Am I even qualified for this? Yes, I am. Of course I am.
Right. And thankfully, we haven't had a whole lot of negative comments and things like that. But I mean, people are people, and we live in a time where people they feel obligated to be nasty sometimes. But thankfully, I have thick skin and semi-human emotions, and he is so happy-go-lucky it doesn't faze him. So
I'm just waiting.
That part.
I'm just waiting.
You're not.
To go off on something.
You're like,
Nice one.
Yeah, just sit calmly and wait. Negative comment, okay. I'm going to find out who you are.
He's the nice one.
I do that, but not on my own comments. I don't really get a whole lot of nasty comments, but when I see nasty comments on other people's stuff, I go into CIA mode. I am finding their LinkedIn, where they're from, and I have commented on people's videos like, not John Smith from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who works at this place talking all this mess on the internet. And people are like, oh, damn. Exactly. I'm like, well, your username is John Smith 1980. It was pretty easy to figure out who you are.
Yeah. Let's see what your employees at the airport hangar feel.
Right.
What you just said.
Here's his LinkedIn.
We live in a time where people feel like, it's almost like an obligation to be ugly towards people. And that's just not.
The most amazing thing that gets me is people don't understand, like, somebody post something, it could be anything. And if it doesn't apply to you, why in the hell are you responding? But they don't apply to me, but what the hell?
Then don't
Then
say
move
anything.
on.
Yeah,
Why the
just
hell? Just
going.
keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you got to bring something negative. Got to say something. Like, what the hell?
It's
I'm not married, but what the hell?
Then shut
it's a
up.
lot. It's that part is
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then trying to balance that part, but also trying to maintain a pause, because my mouth, on the other hand,
And we
can get a little reckless.
it's funny. We see the shit in all types of groups, because we're on like different groups.
Holly, you gave permission.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I did.
We're
I
in
gave you
different
all the
groups and
permission.
stuff. There you go. So I'll say it again. We see all kinds of shit. But the different groups that we're in on Facebook and stuff, and you'll see the thing will say, "This is for all women, all wives, all women, such and such, such 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 such." This is the question. Men need not reply. Scroll by, and then you'll see a damn man say something. Come on now, what the hell? Like. It said all women, but you still got to add. So men just be just as damn sassy and messy as quote unquote women could be sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean,
fix that up.
what society says, because
Okay.
society
Okay,
says
you fixed it up.
that y'all just talking, blabbering, spread gossip and all this.
Okay.
But I can tell you, as a man that know a lot of damn men gossip worse than damn some women. I mean, that's just, it is what it is.
That's where I get
You
all my
needed to get
gossip
that
from.
out, huh?
I get all my gossip from
Yeah,
men in the
yeah.
family.
Oh,
They
yeah.
know all the gossip because nobody
Oh, yeah.
expects that they're
Yeah.
going to be the gossiper. And I'm like, oh no.
Exactly.
No.
Where'd you get that from, Catherine? No, I got that from Ted.
Well,
yes.
I work in a field that's predominantly women, so the men tend to have those types of. They're gonna gossip.
Their estrogen levels are on high demand. And I say that because when I was I worked in a call center one time years ago, and it was mostly women. And when you work around mostly women, your estrogen levels inside the man tends to come out, and it's like you'll be like, damn, I'm sitting up there gossiping just like they doing. Like, I'm talking about another teammate. Like, what the hell?
You're like,
I thought that's what it was.
Did you hear?
Exactly.
I got that tea.
Girl. You see what she put on today? What the hell? They be like,
you
gave permission.
I did. That was on me. That was totally on me. I will take responsibility. 110%.
If you quit drawing attention to it, the people ain't gonna know I did.
Okay, my bad.
Oh no, I'm gonna highlight it. And just make a GIF out of it. So it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Words popping up. Yeah, the captions bright.
Yep. Make sure when you spell it, just say SHYT. Shit.
Oh gosh, you guys are killing me. This is too fun. Okay, be professional. I love it, and I love the way you two play off of each other as well. And I'm curious for the listeners, without spilling all the secrets to everybody, but I'm hoping you can talk about some of the ways that you have found to be successful in keeping your marriage so happy and going for so long.
We're friends. We like each other.
Yep.
And that part is where we've always worked. A lot of people, the love that you love people that you don't want to see every day. So that part comes easy, but we like each other and we put in the effort to continue liking each other.
Yeah.
The podcast, that's one of our shared hobbies. We'll do projects around the house together. So we have shared hobbies. but we also support each other in our individual hobbies. I think that people don't put in the effort into that liking piece and into
Yes.
that constant connection.
And
That's where it can get stale.
yeah. It's like, even with separate endeavors, if you're not, just if you're doing something and you enjoy it, and if your mate is not questioning you, I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to just question or ask a question, even if you really don't understand. But like, she crochets, and I can't tell you how in the hell she comes up with some of the shit she crochets, but it's immaculate when she's done. And I'm like, how in the hell do you do that shit? So, like, if I don't question her about it and she's making all these grand pieces, eventually she's gonna be like, well, damn, he don't even care about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't take a lot to just comment, ask questions, get involved in what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that simple. But you have to be intentional about your relationship. And like, for me, it's like, I use this example, like, people work and they love. I mean, we work, but we love the money more than we love the work, right? Because the money is a tool, and we want to have more of it. Well, when you put your money in the bank, and if you're an investor, you don't just put your money in the bank and don't pay attention to it, right? You look at it, you try to see, okay, well, how can I make this grow? How can I add more? Let me do this, let me do that. And that's how you have to be about your relationship. If you want it to grow into wonderful things, you have to do wonderful things to make it grow. And that invest in time, that's invested energy, you may have to sacrifice some, you may have to sacrifice some of your hobbies sometimes, and just say, hey, let me take this time and spend it with my wife or my husband. And so that we can enjoy our relationship, especially when in the younger years, when you have children. If you have children, you have to really be intentional about it, because you'll find yourself when the kids get grown and adults, and what do we have in common? So there needs to be this constant investment into your relationship. Consistency.
That sounds like a lot of work. I'm just kidding.
And it's funny that you say that. We're going, I bet to somebody they're probably like, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
But the one thing about it is you do it, but you want to do it.
Right.
So like I want to spend that time with him. I want to show him that I appreciate him, or that he works on cars. There are times when he's working on a car when it's nice and warm outside. And I'll get a chair and I'll sit out there. I'll crochet while he's working. He'll get stuck on things. I have no clue, but I have Google and I have ChatGPT. And so sometimes I do those things, and just so he talks those things through. So yes, there's a lot you're pouring in, but it doesn't feel like it, because that's where you want to be.
It's like checking in, like, even though we're doing our separate things, sometimes even I'll get halfway through a project or something. If I'm out there working on a car or something, I get halfway done, I come in and wash my hands and come in here and see what she's doing, if she's working, and, I'll tap her on the shoulder and, pucker my lips up for a kiss, and then walk back out the door. I mean, it's easy if you willing to put the time in. It's hard if you don't like them.
Right. That's the thing.
It's hard as hell.
You gotta right. If you don't like the person, then yes, this is hard.
But hard as hell.
Like him. And so it when he's working on something, if he's working on something that's been giving him a fit, when he's finally done, I am literally cheering him on. And because I know that he's accomplished something and he's excited about it, and I want him to know that too. So it's funny that you said that, because I was like, makes it seem like it's a lot.
and it
But
really,
we like each other.
well, I think with when people are stubborn and want to be inside themselves, it is hard because shit, I got to go do something let me go do something, make sure I show him I care about him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It was like that at the beginning for me sometimes. I was an only child.
well, yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I grew up as an only child, so sharing.
but that's growth. That's growth, and you develop over time, and you
Right.
develop that over
It
time.
was
You know?
hard sometimes. With
Yeah.
kids was hard too. Because as their mom, if I'm eating something and they want to bite, people expect me to share my food and to give them a little taste because they're, the fruit of my loins. So that was even, something to get used to for me because I grew up as an only child. My siblings were with their mom.
And there has most definitely been evolution in our relationship and how we've done how we do things compared to the beginning is compared to now. Because in the beginning, I could be out there doing a project and I'm out there the entire time and don't even check in. You know what I'm saying? And then, I come in, I'm done. And, but we had to learn. I had to say, you know what, I want to create a happy environment. So I need to do what I need to do to create this environment. And we both had to do that for each other. So
Yeah, I'm
that's what
glad you
it's all
mentioned
about.
that. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because, I think a lot of people would initially probably hear about your story and about like how you make this all work for you guys and be like, they just started, they don't got any problems. They never had one problem. It's like, no. And we get through those things, like you said, because you like each other, because you really value the
Yep.
friendship that you have and the person that you're with. And then the work becomes
Right.
less like work and more just like, this is just what we do. This is just our thing.
Right.
This is how we make it work.
Right.
Exactly.
I try to stay away from the word work and I try to say effort because
Effort.
work
I like
tends
that.
to have such a negative connotation.
Mhm.
And effort, you realize that the more effort you put in, the farther, that effort will take you. And right now at 28 years, it seems pretty easy. However, we got married at 22 and 23.
Yep.
We got married one week, and literally the next week,
We're
I gave
parents.
birth to our son.
Mhm.
And so our start was difficult. And throughout that being 22 in and of itself
Yeah.
is a lot. And so that growing together, we have a family. We had to learn about finances. We had to learn about, you name it, and we had to learn,
Yep.
but we had to learn as husband, wife, and parents. And that was difficult. When we found out I was pregnant, I was about 4.5 months. So we knew that our option was we were either going to raise a child or the child would be adopted. So we decided we would raise a child together. We moved in together in October, and his ex popped up. And so then we had to have a very grown up conversation of, are we going to, at the time we had been friends for years. And once we started dating, 97 is the year that it all changed.
Yep.
So we started dating at the beginning of 97. We were married at the end of 97.
Yep.
But we had to have a conversation. Are we going to continue being friends and co-parent, or are we going to be together? Because if we're going to be together, then that's it. And we made the decision to be together. So at that point, our marriage had to take front and center, and we had to step back. And that's
Yeah.
how we've looked at everything through the lens of what's best for our relationship and our marriage. And it's been rough at times. We decided to adopt a teenager after we had had 2 birth children, and all these things are things that people around us had not done. So we didn't have
Yeah.
that social circle of people who had adopted teenage. We didn't have that. We had each other, and we learned to turn to each other during those things. We had an episode where both of us started communicating with other people outside of our relationship because we couldn't get past some type of block. And at that point, for me personally, I realized that I am talking to this person and looking forward to speaking to this person instead of my husband. That's an issue. So that needs to stop. And he came to the same type of realization. So we had to realize that even if a conversation is hard together, then it's easier to talk to someone else, because there's always going to be somebody else willing to listen and wherever else you want to go with it.
Exactly.
Right.
And thankfully, both of us remembered, nope, we said our marriage comes first, and we had to stop and regroup and come back together and say, okay, we didn't have this conversation, and that caused us to look outside of our marriage. So we need to come back together and have this conversation, and remember that for the next one, we have to come together, however difficult it may be.
And also with the, with the communication, we had to learn to communicate in ways that were beneficial to us. So, the best thing for me, because of having ADHD, undiagnosed, but I had to learn to write. I had to learn to write letters. We had to, in order to get whatever our feelings were that were inside out, because a lot of times the problem was when we would argue or we would have discussions, I'm on question number 2 and she's presented 5 other questions. I don't even know where the hell I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? So I shut down, get quiet and shut down. And then, I would use my old expression where I say kick the can down the road, to the next argument, you know what I'm saying? And not even getting through what we had before. So a lot of that going on over time just created, she don't understand me. And I don't understand her. So this person here understands me,
Right.
and this person understands her. So now we're reaching outside instead of coming together. And so, like she said, when we come to that situation, it was like, okay, this ain't gonna work if we want us to work. And so we had to realize that, both of us were trying to decide what we wanted out. Because, you think about it, when you're from the time you're born to, 22 for me, 23 for her, only person we had to concern about who was going to eat was ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now, we come together. Now I got to be concerned about how she going to eat and how my son going to eat. She's got to be concerned about how I'm going to eat and how the child's going to eat. So there's a lot of growth in that. And people think that it's just simple as, you just do. And it's not easy. It's not easy. So you have to learn to come out of self and to become one. And when you put the relationship first, then that's when the growth started for us.
To add, when he says it's not easy, it's not that the marriage was not easy. It was stepping outside of yourself. That's the hard part.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't ever, we're human. We don't ever want to feel like we're being slighted or not. I was the only child. I wanted my way. I didn't want to hear no, and I still don't like to hear no. But I'll work with it. But that's the hard part, is learning that, wait, I can't have this and this at the same time, but I really want this. But if I have this, then it hurts this. Okay, I guess I don't need that, or I need an alternative for this because I don't want to hurt this. That's the part that was hard. But once we learned to come to each other, be it writing, texting, however, for those difficult conversations, Once we learn to start coming to each other, then it gets easier. And then that's when, okay, the trust grows because you're coming to me now with everything. I know you're coming to me with everything. And that's when we have a space now where I can be vulnerable, you can be vulnerable, and I trust that you're not going to abuse that. You're not going to use that against me. And so all of that comes from making sure that you like each other, but then also maintaining that connection with each other, even when it's uncomfortable, when it's talking about money and you don't want to talk about money because that's uncomfortable, when it's talking about, sexual things that maybe you want to try this or maybe you didn't like this. You have to talk to each other about those things, because if not, there's always someone willing to listen and whatever else is on the table.
And someone willing to do
whatever else is on the table.
Whatever is on the table. And it's so easy. The easiest thing to do is to just give up and quit. That's the easiest thing to do. But if you really want something, it's like anything. If you you don't become a LeBron James without practicing. That just there's no person that just wakes up and says, I want to be a professional basketball player, and just walks right out there and do it. It just doesn't happen. So you have to practice at it. You have to, work on those issues that you have, and thank God for today in our society, we have a lot of tools available. So, when you want to learn how to increase that connectivity, you have coaches, you have therapists, you have all types of podcasts, you have
books.
Check out the podcast, check out the book, check out everything, because and if everything is geared towards anything that you want to succeed, is worth an investment. It's worth an investment, because then you get the return when you can go through months at a time and not have arguments about silly stuff, or when you go through the times where you just like, you know what, we ain't fought in a while. Like, dang, it just and when you say that, sometimes it's like,
you gonna schedule one?
Like, damn, maybe we need to focus a little bit.
We need a little one.
Yeah, it creates a whole nother level of peace when you're not dealing with those, and not to say that you'll never have issues. It's just that handling them are a lot easier, and it just makes it seem like it's so minute, where 20 years ago, I don't know, some underwear left on the floor might have been blown up the whole house, all Saturday gone because you're fighting about it. Well, now 20 years later, he left his underwear on the floor. Let me just pick him up. Baby, you left your underwear on the floor again. Pick them up, and then you go on about your damn day.
Yeah.
This is that.
That was hypothetical.
It's hypothetical.
Because we're not going to leave on my floor.
Mark's like, we already nipped that in the butt when it was 22, 23, okay?
Shoot for the hamper, and you miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then your ADHD kicks in, and then you get to doing something else, and you forget that you missed that shot.
Exactly.
I got you. And you go back to
don't help him with him.
You go back to clean it up. I got you.
I take that and be like, where in the hell did I put that pencil?
No, I say that because I'm the exact same way. I'm the same way. And then I'll come back a little while later. I'm like, there was some reason I had to come back to this room. Damn, what was it for? Oh, shoot, look at this thing over here. Well, the underwear just sitting there.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, that's so real. Like all the really great points that you're bringing up are just so golden, because, and I think it resonates with a lot of people. I was sitting there like, yep. And the communication piece, is tough, because it's a different game than communicating with your family or just like some friends that you have, right? Because this is a marriage now, right? And in your situation, your parents now, it's a different level of the relationship too. When you become parents, and 22, 23, you're young, your brains are still developing, you're still moving through all of that. I mean, I'm 40 and I'm like, sometimes my brain, I feel like it's not even done yet. It's not done developed
But,
yet. But and stepping outside of yourself,
I'm
I love
still
how you
trying
brought that
to
up. Yeah, right?
I'm still trying to figure out what I wanna do when I grow up, so,
Yeah.
No, same.
but we we grew up with our son. I mean,
Mhm,
we grew up with him. We were
mhm,
and one of the early arguments that we had, oh gosh, I could have choked him. He looks at me and he says, "Nobody taught me how to be a father. Bitch, nobody
mm.
taught me how to be a mother. What are you
You
talking
weren't supposed to say
about?"
that shit though. See, when I said that shit, it
It
was
was
supposed to
supposed to be
be
like the
that was supposed to
breakthrough
be
moment.
the end scene of the sitcom,
Yeah, no.
and then we were supposed to come back. You said that shit so quick, I was like,
No,
God damn.
right. No, we no commercial breaks. So, you know,
That's my damn episode.
no, good. But that was like
Mhm.
to me, and because of how I'm like who taught me? But you don't do that. Like so there were growing pains, there were,
Mhm.
marriage, parenting, those types of things, but in
Yeah.
the end I knew I wanted a relationship that was successful. I knew that if we were not together, I was not going to be with anyone else because I know the path that I was on. And being married probably saved me. But I just knew that and then we were friends. We were best friends for years.
Mm.
And I think that friendship
Mm,
piece, we got to see each other's good, bad, and ugly
yeah.
Mhm.
in a way that didn't affect us like it does when you're in a
Mm,
relationship. And I wanted my friend. So when he said stupid stuff like that, when things like that came up,
yeah.
it was like, okay, we got to get through this, which is another thing that you don't see a lot of today. You have to allow grace
Oh
within a
yeah.
Mhm.
relationship. Nobody's perfect.
Stupid shit is gonna come out. Stupid shit is
Absolutely.
gonna happen. That's just
Absolutely.
part
But
of it.
we're humans. You allow grace. And I know that at his core, he is a good person. He is he's the best human I know. I don't know anyone who is more kind and compassionate. And so when mistakes are made, I know that the intent was never to hurt me.
Mm,
I know that something kind and compassionate took a left turn and now he's focused on him. And
Mm.
so to allow grace is to say, okay, you apologize, you say this won't happen again. I'm going to
mm,
trust that. And then he allowed the same grace with me. For me, um, I have experienced a lot of things in childhood that I had repressed memories come back. And at one point, I couldn't deal with touch. I could only initiate touch, and not just with him, but with my kids. My kids would come up to me and touch me, and
mm,
I'd freeze. And
Mhm.
so I have come a long way with therapy and self learning and things like that. So he allowed grace and me through that process, and knowing that if he touches me and I move, it's not because of him, it's because of something that I've experienced and I'm trying to work through those things. So you have to give grace to
yeah.
each other because you're human. You're going to mess up. You're going to hopefully grow from those mistakes and move forward. And like he said, it's not about not having conflict because we still do, of
Mm,
course, we're human,
Mhm.
but we move through it quicker and we recognize that sometimes whatever the conflict is about is not really what the
what it
conflict is
is. Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so we've learned those things. We learned not to take those things out personally with each other and to focus on, okay, what's going to keep our marriage healthy and happy. And that means
Mm.
that Margaret, you've got to simmer down and
And
you've got to
it's
pull back some.
without a shadow of a doubt, I can say that every time there's conflict or there is an issue, one of the two, or maybe both, have gotten into self. Have gotten into self. If there's that thing that you just can't get through, you have gotten into self, and you put the relationship to the side. because like when you desire to have that meaningful time, like I mean, this is my friend. I miss, like, if we're not talking, I miss that. You know what I'm saying? Like I be looking at shit on my phone and shit, I can't share this with, I'm pissed off. You know what I'm saying?
We're not speaking.
Or, you know, we ain't talking to each other.
I'll save it for later.
Yeah, I'll save that for later. And then forget, you know, and then, you know, you let a good 2-3 days go by and, you know, you like, well, shit, it just don't feel right.
Plus, we're old now.
Yeah,
and so
shit
you
can
just
happen.
never know.
Yeah, you know.
And, you know, we say that, we laugh about, but I mean, you just never know. We had dear friends of ours who the husband unexpectedly passed. And that, I mean, I can't imagine, like the last big disagreement we had, it happened on a Friday night, lasted through a Sunday. If something had happened to him that Saturday, you know, dealing with grief on top of the fact that we were arguing about something that was, you know, in the big picture, it was necessary because, like I said, what we argued about wasn't the real issue, but we were able to address the real issue, and that was a good thing. But it shouldn't have taken 2.5 days to get to that point.
Right.
Because he's old, and we just don't know how much.
And mind you, she's older than me, but she calls me old. I'll accept that, though.
No one asked.
Do y'all ever get into an argument? I do this sometimes with my spouse. Like if we get into a disagreement or an argument, and I'll be like, oh my God, if something were to happen and that was the last thing I said, I can't be that. I cannot let that be the last thing I said. Oh my gosh.
And it's,
even if it's not said, you think about it like, shit, I can't.
And we're not even on good and so I brought the couple up, but my mom passed unexpectedly. We had dinner plans that evening and she was in a car accident. So the reality of how quick
shit can happen,
life can change.
I had one of my best friends, and this was several years ago. And we would go to dinner together as couples, and he went fishing one morning, kissed his wife on the forehead. He asked her, you want me to bring some stuff back from the store? And she was like, well, I'll let, just call me when you get ready, ready to head home. And he said he had just put his boat in the water, and the son called him and said, Daddy, Mama won't wake up. And it was just like, you know, maybe that may have been 30 minutes from the house. And that's what he had to deal with and learn to navigate through that. So, you know, you think about those things like that, and it's like, man, and I think at that time we were building a house and we were discussing some things, and we were trying, okay, which house we're going to get, what are we going to do, what's more important, and then we just kind of brought us back to reality in some ways. So, you know, you just never know.
I was pouting about some of the choices we had to pick for the house. What is? What is? That, you know, gosh, that put things in.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. It's me a lot of times. It's me. That's another thing. Accountability.
Accountability. You have a high standard for what you want and what you like and desire. And it is hard to compromise when you have good standards. Sometimes when you have to be like, oh, fine.
Right. When I know best, it's hard, but
so hard.
Try to tell her we just put some paint on it. Shit, that'll fix all that.
See, this is why I bought my house all by myself. Before my spouse and I we were like just started dating and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a house. I can do this all by myself, and I can do it. And then I just had to find what I liked and cared about. And I was like, I know one day I hopefully want to have a child, so I want to make sure there's enough room. Well, at the time I thought I wanted to have 2 kids, and then I had one, and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm good. So I needed to make sure there was enough room. And thankfully we have an extra room because, you know, my parents come up to visit from North Carolina. And so they have a room to stay at, and they don't have to get a hotel and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I had to just think about me in that moment and what I needed. and I didn't know nothing about a house. I remember my first like house issue. I called my dad sobbing and I was like, why did you let me buy a house? What were you guys thinking? I'm an apartment girl. Like, what is wrong? And my dad's like, calm down. Like, what is wrong with you? Okay, you have to call somebody
they're
about
trying to
this
call
because you
maintenance.
can't fix this.
Right,
That's the
They call
life.
maintenance.
where you can't call maintenance.
Yeah.
No, that's the
Yeah,
life for me. That's the life for me. Call a maintenance person,
Look.
they come over, fix it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't gotta pay
Yep.
for it.
Yep.
I told him, I said, because I move us. I've since in therapy worked out what that is though. But we this is the longest we've been anywhere. We've been in this
Yeah.
home now for almost 6
Yeah,
years.
6 years.
No, for 6
We made
years.
6 years.
We made it to 6 years.
Mhm.
Look at that. Any other house we've been in, I mean, a year to what, 4, 5
yeah.
in the previous one.
Mm.
But I told him, I said, maybe we're not house people, but he has his space outside. He works on cars and things. For me though, like I don't like to clean. I don't do the yard stuff. Like none of that stuff is appealing to me, but I want it to look nice. I want it to be clean, but I don't want to do it.
No one have to do it. Yeah.
So, and that was one thing when the kids were younger, when we were in the thick of things, we hired someone to do it. Don't be afraid to hire people to come in and make your life easy.
Exactly.
But we sacrificed in order to be able to pay for someone to come in.
One less meal out, but if you come, it's nothing more refreshing than coming home and smelling that pine sauce scent or whatever scent. You didn't do none of that shit, and it looks immaculate. You're like, oh,
right.
I'm scared to damn mess stuff up.
I used the what is it? Bath and Body Works clean fresh linen or fresh home plug-in. So that I have that scent coming in, even though no one has cleaned.
No, that's my favorite one too. For that reason, I use that same one. Like it smells so clean in here.
It does. It does. Look down, not too hard.
Yep.
But those are things that, just to make things easier. So, he would have coworkers to make comments about, why would I pay somebody to clean when my wife is there? And meanwhile, he's thinking to himself, because peace.
Hell yeah. Shit.
Because
and
peace.
I'm gonna get on. I want to get on this gender role shit because I just
you gave permission.
I can't. Fellas, ain't nothing wrong with washing some damn dishes. Ain't nothing wrong with putting some dishes in the dishwasher. Ain't nothing wrong with washing and folding some damn clothes.
And
if you want to do it.
Bonus, it's very sexy for me to come home and see him cleaning. That's sexy.
Yeah. I mean,
that is sexy.
It's like, we've always worked because and not just because, but for the last probably, I would say 20 plus years of our marriage, out of 28 years, I would say 24, I've been working shift work. Probably longer than that. Hell, probably the whole time, to be honest with you.
Almost.
But I've been working shift work, so I rotate days and nights. So I go from days and I go to nights. And so a lot of times when she was working during the day, when I woke up, I had opportunities to do things. So, clothes, laundry needed to be done. I had to do it, because my kids were running out of underwear or socks. You know how it is when you got little kids. It's like, I got to, you got to figure out what you're going to do. So I start a load sometimes. I start a few loads sometimes, fold and put away, whatever, or just start a load and then we have a big pile, a mountain of clothes in the laundry room and we work on it together as we get time. But, it's
and we had a lot of kids.
We just had to do what we had to do in those times. And look, the hell with company. I mean, shit, I ain't cleaning up for company. I'm cleaning up for comfort. And damn all them. You gonna come if you want to come to my house, you're gonna see these damn clothes on the damn living room couch and slide by. If you don't want to see it, then don't come by. But
and I'd prefer if you didn't come by.
Exactly. Yeah. We're staying at the door. We sit outside,
Earlier, I just talked about how kind you were. Now,
It's just it's just the real. This just the real part, and it's just
You're
about
kind and
creating
honest.
an environment.
honest.
It's just about creating an environment for the both of us so that we can relax and not how happy is she gonna be if I'm being a man, quote unquote, and asking her when she gonna wash the dishes. You gonna get them dishes tonight? She gonna be okay. I'm gonna get these dishes, but guess what? You ain't gonna get. You ain't gonna get nothing. And then dudes trying to figure out, man, we only have sex every other week. I wonder why. Because you're an asshole. That's why. She just won't tell you that shit, but I will. I mean,
You
just
gave permission, Holly.
I just in a lot of these guys groups that I'm in online, I see a lot of guys making these comments like, or they'll pose a question, and then there's always an underlying reason. But they ain't gonna tell you what they doing. They're just gonna tell you what she's not doing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they ain't gonna tell you what they do or what they're not doing. It's like, come on, man. You got to some stuff you just got to really think about what you're doing and think about how you communicate with your wife. Think about how you say things to her. Because you can say things in one way and it's sweet, and then say the exact same thing in another way, and it can open up so many cans of worms.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to be that's where that intentionality comes in. Always happen to be right. That's where you go wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
If you always got to be right, your ass is wrong. I'll tell you that now. And I can't get to you no realer than that.
No, I
Realer,
love
is that a
that.
word?
And
It's not a word. It's not.
it is today.
This is what
I
my
make up
kids.
words all the time.
There you
It's
go.
today.
This is what my kids grew up. I was more of the disciplinarian, but then he would come along. I don't know which they liked worse. Like disliked more. Me and me addressing it or him. Yeah.
we told our daughter we had adopted a child one time. She was like 13. She was 14. She was about 14 when this incident occurred. So I was like, and she was just doing all kind of stuff. So I'm like, look, if you in the dang car and you driving and you just driving full speed ahead, and I'm talking to you on the phone and I'm telling you it'll make it easy for you if you just turn right. If you don't turn, you're going to hit the brick wall. Wouldn't you want me to be there to tell you to turn? And she said, no, Daddy, I think I'd rather hit the brick wall. I said, well, I'll be there. I said, well, I'll be there.
You're like, where do I go from there? You didn't take the analogy
Right.
the way I wanted it.
You want to hit the wall,
Well,
go right
ahead. Our kids, bless their hearts. Now, one of his flaws is he's very stubborn, and they have all, including the adopted ones, they all inherited that from him.
Oh,
and
just
so,
from me.
From him.
Just from me.
From
okay.
him. Yeah. You're stubborn.
Okay.
I'm consistent.
Okay.
But they've all gathered or gained that from him, and so that was, and it was trying the adoption process. It was beautiful for a minute, and then it wasn't. And so learning to turn to each other through that.
Yep.
Not allowing her to come in and play us against each other because of our work schedules. So
that was some practice.
Parenting in and of itself. We dedicated every night once they laid down to us in bed, just talking, debriefing, venting, ranting, crying, wondering why.
Holly, that's when you get in the room with your spouse and you be like, let me tell you what that little motherfucker did today. You got permission because exactly, yeah.
That like, let me just tell you what this little girl did today.
Yeah. You get that way. You get it all.
Your child.
Right.
I
Right.
told that mother, you know what? That's how you get it out like that. Then
You have to.
the world revolves and it's fine.
Yeah, because you
You're
still love
still a
them.
good
You
parent.
still love them, and you're
You're
still a
still a
good
good parent.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
out of love that you're so damn frustrated.
Right. Because
Yes.
what?
Do you
Who
believe that?
raised you?
Do you
God,
believe that Heifer
I
said
raised
she
you.
ready to hit the damn brick wall? What the hell? Did you hear that shit? What the hell?
You,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, you guys are
It's
too much.
right.
I this is literally my least favorite part of the whole episode.
I know. The closing. Yeah.
It's so hard because you guys are so awesome, and we'll definitely be back together again. Our time
Yeah, we'll
together,
just come back
it's
anytime.
just
You get
beginning.
plenty.
So I know you all have dropped so much knowledge on everybody, including myself. But the last question I always like to ask my guests is, what is one piece of advice you would like to impart on the listeners?
You know, go for
One piece of advice. Make sure, and this is before marriage, if you're with someone, if you're engaged, if it's serious, make sure that you really like the person.
Yes.
I think that we overlook that. I think that especially someone that you're serious about, you're moving towards marriage, whatever things stick out to you before the vows, those things are going to amplify afterwards. So if you don't like how they treat the wait staff or the cashier, that's not going away. That's that person. That's at that core. That's the person. So make sure that you're with someone that you like and you enjoy being around, because life is hard. Life doesn't care. Life doesn't care about your feelings. Life doesn't care. And at the very least, to have a partner who you can go through those things with, who you know is going to support you in a way that helps you through those things, it's the best feeling. So make sure that you like the person that you're with. And if you have already married someone and there are some things that, maybe were not ideal, find a way to work through those things so that you can start to build that foundation of liking each other.
Yep. And my piece of advice would be that, you have to think about it in terms of, if you want the relationship to be a happy, healthy relationship, there are going to be some times that you're going to have to put some of yourself aside. Not that you just deny yourself totally, but you have to put some of your wants, some of your needs aside to benefit the relationship, and not that you don't bring it back up. It's just like the relationship is more important right now. So I have to focus on it. And then you bring your personal things in, and then you guys talk about it and you communicate. Excuse me. And then you figure out how that's going to work for the relationship. You have personal interest, and I just say, if you're single and you and your fellas, you go play golf once a week, wherever you do that every Thursday. Well, just expect that some Thursdays you may not make it, and it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? You just have to make adjustments in order for the relationship to be sustainable, and go in it with that mindset. We're just going to make adjustments, and you can always reincorporate things, bring things back in. And just because it's a no now doesn't mean that'll be no forever. That just means that we're going to have to figure out how this works for our relationship. That includes anything, whether if it's sexually, whether if it's financially, whether it's whatever it is.
Truly thank you to both of you. All of the ways for folks to get connected with you will be in the show notes. I appreciate the work that you do, not only for yourselves, but that you share with everybody else. And the podcast is amazing. Make sure y'all go listen to the podcast. It's so good. Thank you for taking time and coming on my show. And we'll definitely have you back on, and we'll definitely chat some more for sure.
All right.
Thank you.